Hi, it's Aneta here from Aneta, our yoga studio and wellness. Today is 31st of May 2018, day number 151 of 2018 and the wisdom of daily practice. So I'm showing up today with a little bit of wisdom from my mat, saying hello to you. I'm really celebrating 151 days of showing up for myself on a daily basis, and it's been really amazing journey, and it's been really interesting and really enriching to really consciously observe what's happening and the little changes and the big changes that are taking place within myself, within my relationships, within my business, within the way that I'm showing up, by just making a conscious effort to show up for myself on a daily basis. And there is something really interesting about doing that, and really very interesting about having a non-negotiable habit, the non-negotiable way, non-negotiable focus on showing up for yourself, showing up for myself. And I talked about this in past videos, but one of the things that really came up for me is that focusing on showing up for myself didn't mean to do an hour of physical asana practice, yoga practice on my mat every day. It didn't mean that I was journaling every single day. It didn't mean that that it was very rigid. It was very, very fluid. And one thing that really mattered was that I did it every single day in the morning and throughout the day, checking in with myself, of really being aware of what's going on for me. It didn't mean being calm and peaceful and speaking like this and I am so understanding, as I see quite a lot of people thinking that that means being grounded and settled in yourself. It meant being really real. It meant that when I was upset, acknowledging that I was upset. When I was tired, like I was really, really tired last week, it meant that acknowledging I needed a bit of space. I needed to take a complete pause from everything for a few days to really allow myself to settle down, to really recover and regenerate. It also meant that that I laid a very strong foundations for whatever is happening at the moment. And you know, when you going through challenging time, when somebody you really care about is ill, or you know, something else is going on, that you have got those foundations and you can really take care of yourself, because life is life. And as much as I love positive thinking, as much as I love the law of attraction, as much as I love this positive showing up and, you know, the power stance and going on for it, life is life. And the thing that I really understood within my body, within my whole being, is that life goes up and down, and up and down, and up and down. And as a woman in my mid-40s, I'll be 45 in October, which is great age. My values have become very obvious to me. I mean, they haven't changed from when I was younger, but they really became very, very much in my face, and I see the reflection of them and how I live in my daily life. And often in our busyness, I know in my busyness, I can get lost. I can get really lost. Things are happening. I have to do work. I have to focus. I have to work with other people's stuff, my family, you know, all of that kind of stuff. You might be having children, you might be having work, you might be having, you know, running of the house, cooking, cleaning, tidying up, taking kids. You know, I met one of my long-term yoga clients yesterday. You know, she's got 2 teenage kids, full schedule. I mean, really full. And so in those times, our self-care can really go, can really be at the bottom of the list of all the things to do. And when it comes down to that, some things gotta give, and then we give in to our self-care, into our own nourishment, our own way of looking after ourselves. And so bringing those non-negotiables, those non-negotiable habits, this a really clear way of understanding I'm going to show up for myself, can have a profound effect. And when we talk about authenticity and integrity, one of the 2 of the 5 really important values to me, it really kind of shaped, those 2 things came up really clearly in my daily practice. And really understanding where I feel like there is cognitive dissonance. There is this, I'm saying one thing, I'm doing something else. You know, this is important to me, but I'm acting in a different way. And so that really understanding that and reflecting on it, that psychological inquiry and checking in with myself really helped to notice what it is all about for me. And it might sound, and I hear that quite a lot, that people say, oh, it's very selfish. You're spending all this time on yourself, you know. But there is one simple misunderstanding in that. How I am within myself is how I show up in everything that I do. How I show up on my mat, how I show up in my relationship with you, how I show up in my loving, closest relationships, how I show up in the studio, how I show up with my big family, how I show up with strangers, how I present myself, how I make decisions about my business, how I, you know, all of those, about my health, about my wealth, about my home, about just everything, absolutely everything. And so that simple understanding that if I have got non-negotiable habits to look after myself, to really take care of my needs, to really respond with loving kindness and self-compassion, the more I can show up with integrity and in an authentic way with my relationships with other people. In a very practical terms, it means I don't spend time with people that I don't think are the right match for me. I don't try to please people. You know, it's something that I always try to do, not to rock the boat, to really be understanding, to really be, but that means not having clear boundaries actually with people. And compassion and lack of boundaries, clear boundaries, are not the same thing. You can have very clear boundaries and be compassionate to other people. And Byron Katie, if you know Byron Katie, she wrote a few books, Loving What Is. She developed this way of working called The Work. It's you know, she talks very clearly about this. It's this understanding of where people are, but the same, and having compassion for them, but having very clear boundaries as well of, you know, and really being quite clear with other people about this. And that's really wonderful. I think it's prevents me and I guess prevents other people from having resentments, from feeling like you are a people pleaser, like you try to do something. And obviously all of this is ongoing work. It's really interesting watching it, how it unfolds on the mat, how it unfolds in the relationships. And so it's been a very, very, very interesting journey. And one thing that I would say for sure, that if you feel like you are really overstretched, like you're really overwhelmed, like you're really exhausted, like your needs are last on the list, like you're doing all this stuff for other people and they're not really appreciating, like nobody really cares, like the thought of going on like this for the next 10, 20, 30 years freaks you out. Like a lot of women that come and talk to me in my one-to-one sessions and say, I'm in my mid-40s, I'm in my 40s or early 50s, and I feel really old and I shouldn't be feeling like this. And then you need to pause for a moment. Pause and really check in with yourself, whether you have got those non-negotiable foundations of self-care, of really acknowledging your needs, how they are, and what you need to do for yourself. And if you don't, it's not about ditching the whole of your life, leaving the husband or the partner, the work, the children, the home, although it might feel like you want to do that. It's about really deciding to start with just one thing, showing up for yourself and checking in how you are. And it creates a snowball effect. The snowball effect of starting very small with a little snowball, throwing it out, creating a momentum till it becomes something really huge and something that is really integrated part of who you are and your life and how it affects everything else, every single thing, because we are creatures of habit and we always do things in exactly the same way. And so I hope you're doing well. At the end of my half-term break, we're starting another 6-week term next week. I have got some exciting stuff coming up to do with workshops, again, kind of really focusing on the stuff that I love and that makes difference to my students and my clients, what I've seen over the last 6 years of running the studio and 8 years of teaching, what really works, and really honing on that a little bit more rather than doing lots of stuff that doesn't maybe make that much difference or have that much impact for my clients and for me as well, because we are all the same, we are all on the same human journey. And so I wish you a really wonderful weekend, and I'm sure I will see some of you at the studio next week. Take care of yourselves. Let me know how you're doing with your practice. So we are at the end of month number 551 days of 2018, almost halfway through the year. So how is it unfolding for you? Is it unfolding in a way that you that you wanted it to? Hi Emma, thanks for joining me. Hope you're doing well. So let me know in comments, as always, how is it going, whether you are progressing in your practice, showing up for yourself and really creating those strong foundations. And if you need help, as always, reach out. I can help you out. We can have a chat and see whether I can support you in your journey. And I really wish you a really good day. Take care of yourself. Namaste.